The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 5 of MMA to the Max. I am your host, Robert Taylor, along with my co-host, Joe Hudson. What's up tonight, Joe?
Not much, man. Just enjoying another great night of fights brought to us by the UFC.
Speaking of brought to us, what is your night of fights and podcasting brought to by?
Firestone Walker 805 once again. I don't drink during the week, so I still had some beer left over from last week. Treating me right. And for you?
I am enjoying a delicious IPA.
Ah, it tells you in the name what it's going to be. That's good. You don't have to think about it later. You already know.
It is, yeah, it's an IPA. I mean, it's one of their weaker IPAs, but an IPA is an IPA, right? In my mind.
Well, I don't know. I've had some IPAs I didn't think were too good, where they try to make them sweet or put too much of the citra hop in there to get it too grapefruity, and it just comes out bitter. But, you know, that's just me. I'm a bit of a snob. But yeah, delicious IPA is delicious. It's like in between a full IPA and a session. You know, you can drink a lot of it and not get destroyed, and it still has enough body to it. So yeah, it's a good beer. Yeah, cheers to you, Stone IPA.
Yeah, big times. They got that 21st anniversary coming out later this month. I'm so excited.
Looking forward. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting drunk on that one.
Hopefully, it'll come out in time for the Floyd Connor quote unquote fight.
Why do you say quote-unquote fight? Well, I guess it's not a fight; it's a boxing match, right?
Well, okay, quote-unquote boxing match. Let's just not pretend, you know, that it is anything other than what it is. It's just a cash grab. Anyways,
it's not just a cash grab. It's a spectacle. It's an entertaining spectacle of two of the most infamous athletes in their respective sports going toe-to-toe under the most strict rules in any combat sport. So that's all.
Did you believe any of that bullshit you just spouted?
Yeah, I think. I'm just looking forward to it, man. I mean, how can I not?
I think it's becoming a just a weekly thing where I just shit all over that boxing match.
And that's fine. I mean, you're a contrarian, so you're going to be contrary to what the rest of the world wants.
No. I'm a purist. All right, and that may sound a little conceited, a little elite there, but I'm an MMA purist. I like to keep it separate. I wasn't even a fan of James Toney coming over. So.
Oh, I was. To me, that was the best thing ever, because James Toney, I remember in the pre-fight build-up, what, he tries to shoot on me, I got this uppercut. I'm like, you stupid fool. Come on. You're going up against one of the world's greatest wrestlers, you know, just a straight Greco-Roman wrestler. He's not going to come in and try to body lock you with his chin out. He's going to low single you, or what he did, an ankle pick, and take control. It was awesome. So boxers can't stand a chance. They have zero chance. Boxers have zero chance inside an MMA octagon, champion versus champion. Zero chance.
And but I would say the same thing on the opposite side.
I don't, because there's always a puncher's chance, and that's the difference is, okay, anyone in MMA has been training to throw punches to the same degree and skill and capability of even the
Didn't we have this argument on
boxers.
episode 1? I feel like deja vu here. And I'm not sure if I want to go down that road again, Joe.
I'm just telling you, dude.
We can do that. We could do that the week before the fight.
I guess it's at work and everything else. That's what all anyone's ever really talking to me about. That's like the biggest thing to them, you know. I did get a lot of inquiries from my coworkers about Jones Cormier, which was pretty cool. But yeah, it's all still McGregor Mayweather. What's going to happen? Is it real? Is it really a fight? You know. So that's where I'm always talking about with the.
And I'm
yokels I work with.
Yeah, and I'm getting a lot of compliments on my alleged radio voice, at least on this podcast, which is really cool because it's nicer than hearing what I've always heard my whole life, which is I had a face for radio, so voice for radio is pretty cool. So
yeah, you got a face for radio, a body for radio, personality for radio.
Yeah, as long as you don't see me, I'm the coolest person ever.
That's right, dude. I look great as long as your eyes are closed. That's all I'm saying.
That used to be my go-to pickup line. Anyways, let's just get on to the
Yeah.
fights that happened tonight. We waste a little too much time already. Brandon Moreno and Sergio Pettis going down in Mexico. That was a great fight.
Dude, it was a fun fight. We talked about how we scored the first round. You and I kind of differed. I think the judges agreed with me on that. Not that it was a big deal, but
Actually, judging by the scoring, I believe they agreed with me. They actually gave Pettis a 10-8 in there. Yeah, because I thought the first round was easily a 10-8 just based off the new scoring rules, which the Latin American Council for Mixed Martial Arts adopted. I'm so happy about that. Thank you very much.
Yep.
And in case anybody doesn't know, I know I explained it on the page earlier to a follower, but under the new scoring system, the new rules that went into effect this year, to score a 10-8 round, you're basically looking at damage, dominance, and duration. If you have two of those three, then you should really consider a 10-8. If you have all three of those, then there's no way you don't give it a 10-8. And in round one, Brandon Moreno had dominance. He was on his back pretty much the entire round, and duration, like I said, for the entire round. So I don't see how anybody doesn't give him a 10-8 in that round.
Yeah. I mean, my argument was, okay, he had dominant position, but he did absolutely nothing with it for that entire time. So I didn't see a 10-8. It definitely clearly won the round, but maybe I'm still kind of stuck on the old scoring rules. And I know that's what they're trying to do is make more 10-8s like in boxing, one knockdown, automatic 10-8.
Well, when you have different commissions choosing to enact the rules and adopt them or not, I mean, it's kind of not your fault that you're not exactly clear on them. I mean, I'm not trying to sound insulting, but it's one of the things we talked about before. I just hate that they just can't all come together and just adopt them.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it oh man, my brain is just totally dying, not working right now. The head of rules and regulations for the UFC, I can't remember his name right now. Oh man,
Mark Ratner.
Ratner, thank you. He said in an interview that it makes a mockery of the sport that not all the commissions have adopted the unified, the new rules that have not been completely unified. I don't know if it makes a mockery of it. I don't think it makes a mockery of it. It just goes to prove that this sport is still in its infancy. That's all that it does. They still got a lot of growing.
To an extent, but I agree with him saying it's a mockery just for the simple fact that when you have these different commissions that are choosing which rules to adopt and which rules not, I mean, it's a joke. Because when you have the ABC, when everybody comes out with new rules, the commissions, when it comes to boxing, they adopted them like that. There was no, this athletic commission adopted it. This one, no, they just said, yeah, cool. But for MMA, it's, no, yes, no, and yeah, that's a mockery. I think he's talking about it like the commissions are making a mockery of the sport of MMA, and in that I agree.
Yeah, I read the article. I think it was Mark Ramundi. This article. I didn't see him saying it that way. Maybe I'm not disagreeing. Maybe it was just the way I interpreted it. It was just the fact that they haven't ratified them makes a mockery of the sport. But yeah, what you're saying is these commissions, state by state, who haven't ratified them, they're making a mockery of the sport, and it's probably true because you look at like California, that's probably the most progressive when it comes to MMA and looking out for fighter safety. They implemented the new rules, so it's not an issue of fighter safety. You know what I mean? They're going to be the ones that are most. I mean, they're the ones that wouldn't let Renan Barão fight at 135 because he nearly died trying to cut to that weight against T.J. Dillashaw a few years ago.
Completely agreed. Agreed with them. I am a big fan of what the California State Athletic Commission is doing when it comes to weight cutting and rules. They are, they are the progressive commission when it comes to the sport of mixed martial arts, and I applaud everything they're trying to do, including the new weight classes that we talked about on a previous episode.
Yeah, I completely agree with the new weight classes, and California, they are leading the way as far as mixed martial arts rules and regulations, and is as far as being like the front runner and saying what should and shouldn't be done for the sport of MMA.
That's kind of just what California does. Am I right?
The progressive nature of California would probably think that I don't know, we get to there's no more female or male divisions because gender is fluid or
Yeah.
something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I'm born and raised in California. I love it out here, but it gets a little wacky from time to time.
No, I could agree with that. I'm pretty liberal when it comes to social ideas, but yeah, I'm totally getting what you're saying and totally agreeing with it. So, but let's get to the fight, man.
Yeah,
round one, Brandon Moreno takes him down, takes his back, almost sinks in a rear naked choke a couple of times. Completely dominated the round. May not have done damage, but dominance and duration in my mind, 10-8. After that, Pettis just became like Sergio the Surgeon. Am I right? I mean, dude.
Did you come up with that line all by yourself, Sergio the Surgeon?
I may have seen it somewhere.
Yeah,
I just didn't want to give you the satisfaction. All right.
Yeah, no, it was beautiful. He needs a new nickname, Sergio the Surgeon, man. The precision of his strikes, and my wife in our league, whatever, had picked Moreno, so she was like, why can't he just take him down? I'm like, look what Sergio's doing. He's staying on the outside. Anytime he's close, he's keeping to the end of his punches, and the way he's changing stances, it changes the approach for the takedown. He did a great job of that, and the only way you were going to take him down is the way that Moreno did in the fifth round, which is bum rush him and tackle him.
Well, not just that, but what Brandon Moreno's thing is he's not really a great takedown artist. Most of his takedowns come from mistakes made by other people. Like, that's where most of his victories even come from.
Yeah.
I know Brian Stan was making mention that in the broadcast, so it comes off like I'm trying to piggyback what he's saying, but it's something I had already spoken about before.
Sure.
But yeah, he's not a great takedown artist, but he counters for his takedowns, and when he gets you down, his ground game is world class. Unfortunately for him, Pettis was very adept at defending that rear naked choke.
Yeah, he did a great job of defending it. Moreno did everything right, and he definitely was the better grappler, but he just wasn't good enough to submit him. I think if it was in a later round when he had his back like that, there might have been more sweat, and he could have slipped his arm under the chin better or something. But unfortunately for Moreno, every round starts on the feet.
Yeah,
Pettis, after that first body kick that he threw, where he was able to get caught and taken down, he kept him to low leg kicks or head kicks where he was able to, not get taken down. He did a great adjustment on his part, man. He looked like the Anthony Pettis of old in some of those middle rounds,
Well, he looked like the RFA Sergio Pettis, the one that was was undefeated, just running through everybody in the flyweight division in RFA before coming to the UFC and moving up to bantamweight for some inexplicable reason.
That was such a bad idea, man. I didn't like that. I like it because he's not a huge feather or a flyweight. He's not giant. Moreno looked a lot bigger than him tonight.
I mean, I'm not going to fault him for not wanting to make a weight cut. So,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know personally, I guess, but we can all see how bad they affect fighters.
Oh, 100%. But I think Sergio's good at 125. I know the weight cut is tough, but I think that's the right size for him. Just like Demetrius. Demetrius is not an oversized flyweight. He's perfectly sized for him. I think Pettis is too. I mean, I don't know. I've never heard that he has horrible struggles with it, but I think he's good. And on that note, who do you want to see him fight next? Right now, he's currently ranked 6. Who do you think in the flyweight division should be next for him?
It all depends in my mind. He's a fresh challenger, so if Demetrius Johnson decides to stay at flyweight and defend his title, then you might as well just put Pettis in there because he's a fresh challenger. Demetrius has already beaten everybody ahead of him. Not that I'm going to give him a chance in hell of beating Demetrius Johnson, but
no.
So
close.
Yeah,
it's sad because Pettis has looked great, but I'm just thinking about that too. What would Demetrius do?
Yeah, what would Demetrius do? Yeah, I like that. We need to get bracelets.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
No, he has no chance in hell. But if after Mighty Mouse defeats Ray Borg and secures that record, I expect him to actually probably move up for a super fight against the winner of Cody and TJ.
Against TJ?
Yeah, well, I'm hoping. That's who I'm going to pick, and I'm hoping. And at that point,
there's no hope.
Sergio
involved,
Pettis
man.
and Jiu-Jitsu. That's what I would do next.
You think so?
Yep.
All right, that's kind of what I was thinking. I
think Joe's on what, a 5-fight win streak, 6-fight maybe since his last loss to Mighty Mouse. So
yeah,
he probably should have gotten the title shot, but it's really hard to sell a third fight between people, especially when the last time you were knocked out and within a round.
it wasn't competitive. I think that's exactly what I was saying. I was looking at the rankings and I'm like, okay, did you see Formiga? Yeah, it runs through him. Wilson Hayes.
That was his last fight. He already beat Formiga. Remember?
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, that's right. He beat Formiga. Hayes. Stylistically, Hayes isn't going to get him down, and as you can see tonight, his grappling. Borg has got the next fight. Cejudo, I don't know where he's at right now. That could be a fun fight because you got the heavy hands of Cejudo with Pettis's, mixing it up karate style striking. That could be fun.
Well, see, here's the thing with the reason why I'm saying Jiu-Jitsu Joe Benavidez is because if Mighty Mouse goes up and does a super fight with the bantamweight champion at the time, this would be one of the instances where I would be okay with an interim title because he is going up a weight class, and then you can just do Benavidez and Pettis for the interim title.
You do it on the same card as DJ
exactly.
versus TJ at the co-main event. That would be awesome. So then
you're going to piss people off by saying TJ constantly. There are a lot of Cody fans that listen, and I know that for a fact.
Well, look. We can go back to how watching Tough totally salted me on.
I know, but I'm not gonna discredit Cody from having the ability to win that fight.
Dude, he absolutely does. I think they're a bunch of assholes aside. He's a phenomenally good fighter.
He's the best one at that camp,
by far. And I think TJ is a better version of Dominic Cruz to face Garbrandt, if that makes sense.
At this point,
I think he hits harder, and I think he has more takedown options than Cruz really does. Cruz usually does that knee tap, and that's how he gets you down, and he's a little lighter on his feet, and he doesn't hit as hard as TJ does. And I think TJ throws more leg kicks, and with the leg kicks, is you're going to take away the power and mobility and the counter striking of Garbrandt. Those are my thoughts.
TJ also has the power advantage that Dominic Cruz doesn't have when it comes to striking.
Right,
but we are getting way off topic here, man. Jesus.
That's what happens when we drink too much, dude.
Anyways, yeah, like I said,
we're on topic. We're talking MMA, bro. That's always the topic.
If Mighty Mouse doesn't go up for a super fight, then Pettis and Mighty Mouse next. And just have Mighty Mouse continue on his record-breaking run. If he does move up, which I do expect him to do because that is the smart decision to do after he breaks the record, then Joe Benavidez versus Sergio Pettis is the fight I would make. Both guys, whoever wins that fight, would definitely earn a fight with Mighty Mouse. Or if Mighty Mouse wins the bantamweight title and moves up permanently, then they can represent the flyweight division.
No, what he does, because he's so active, is he defends them both. Nothing against Conor.
I was going to say, do what Conor promised people he would do and got people on his side for, and then never did it.
Yeah, I'm not a dick rider of anyone, but I do appreciate Conor. But I'd like to see a two-division champ defend his belt in both divisions. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that's when Conor stopped doing that, when I figured out that Conor wasn't going to do that, that's when I stopped being his fan. Because I was all excited for that.
As a history major myself, one of the greatest predictors of the future is history. And if you look at what he did, dude, my brain is not working tonight, man.
It's that 8:05, man. That's what you get for drinking 2 beers in a row. 2 weeks in a row.
What he did over there in the European
Cage
League
Warriors. Cage Warriors.
Jesus. I'm losing my mind. Cage Warriors.
Hey, that was me last week, right?
Yeah.
Or the week before, or whatever. Cage Warriors, when I was hungover 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, he won the belt in 2 weight divisions and never defended either of them. So if you knew that, that's what he was going to do over here in the UFC, which is fine. And look, dude, he's got to do what he's got to do. He's a prize fighter.
It's fine it's fine to do it, but just don't promise people. But we are talking too much about Conor tonight. I don't like it. It's funny though, because everything we talk about, every time we bring it up, it's kind of like a perfect segue from what we're talking about before. So
yeah, it segues. But yeah, we've talked about, and this is all stemming off of what we think we'd like to see with Sergio.
Yeah, we want Mighty Mouse to do what Conor said he was going to do. That's the only reason he was brought back into this conversation. So, Chase, buddy, I don't want to hear shit from you.
Oh, Chase, I want to hear it all day long, buddy. Go ahead and DM me directly. We'll have some fun conversations while I'm at work in the restroom, perusing my Facebook, as I usually do. Coworkers, don't tell the boss. Thanks, appreciate it.
Right. Yeah, no shit, right? All right, hey, go main event, man. Lexa Grasso beating Miranda Marcos. How'd you score that?
I scored it for Marcos, to be honest with you.
29-28. You gave her the first?
Yeah, I gave her the first round. It was close, 29-28.
Yeah. So, yeah, I scored it for Grasso, 29-28. I would not have been upset with Marcos getting that decision. It all came down to how you scored the first round. Marcos won the first half of it. Grasso won the second half of it. Depends on how much weight you put on the half of the round. People out there claiming robbery. Go watch Diego Sanchez, Ross Pearson, and then get back to me about robbery. This was not a robbery.
That wasn't a robbery. Diego clearly put more blood on the canvas than Ross Pearson, and therefore he wins.
Yeah, I'm going to block this guy's fist with my face. Judges love that shit.
Yeah, obviously that's what you should do more of, right?
Yeah, right.
Around.
It worked for him for the while.
I thought it was a little bit of home cooking.
See, I don't, man. I could. My thing is, it could have gone either way. I could not predict a winner. I was even talking to Bloody Elbow on Twitter during the fight. I said I smell a split decision, which I also did for an earlier fight. Yeah. So it could have gone either way. I would not have been upset if they said, winner Ronda Marcos.
I would have been happy because I picked.
At least I'm just when it comes to 29-28, 2-1 for the judging, I'm okay with that. Two judges saw it, one judge saw it. It means it's a closer round. It's when judges, like, one judge scores at 30-27 and the other two scored 29-28 is my problem. I was not upset by the decision. I don't think it was a bad decision. I definitely think Marcos won the second round, Grasso won the third, and the first just depended on which half of the round you gave more weight to.
I gave more weight to Randa, not Ronda, being able to take her down and the control she had for the time. But that's fine. And in that same argument is the argument you use on why you gave Marino a 10-8 in the first round versus Pettis. So I get all that too. So I'm not mad about that decision. I think it was close. I think
it's definitely not a robbery, though. Definitely not a robbery.
No, it's not a robbery. But when I say home cooking, I think it's because it was close. Grasso got the kick. Tie goes to the runner. Tie goes to the home field advantage kind of thing. That's all. I don't think it was a bad decision. I didn't complain about it when it happened. So that was fine.
That's fair. That's a fair point. It's possible. It's fair, but I think it's a decision that's just.
Sure.
If they would have said Marcos, I would have said the same thing. It could have gone either way.
Yeah, if they'd have said Marcos, I'd have said good job. They didn't let their
Tell you what, though.
Homer.
It was a goddamn good fight, and it is my pick for Fight of the Night. Yeah, exactly.
100%, dude. Two female fights in a row for Fight of the Night.
In my mind, I kind of want to look it up real quick to see what they awarded Fight of the Night.
I was looking for it and I didn't find it before we started our episode. I did not find it. But while you look for it,
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it right now. I'm bringing it up. So we got Fight of the Night. Fight of the Night. Let's see. We got Performance of the Night. Was Oh, they didn't give a Fight of the Night.
¿Por qué no?
They gave four. Yeah, that's apropos for the show in Mexico. They just gave 4 performances of the night to Nico Price, Humberto Bandene, Dustin Ortiz, and Joseph Morales. That's cool because I want to talk about the next fight down the card. My boy, Nico Price, starching Alan Jouban like I predicted last week. Jouban has no defense. He has no head movement. I like the guy. He's a great fighter. He just can't. He just has no defense. He can't hang.
Yeah, we talked that I thought Jouban was going to win, but after I dug into it a little bit more over the week, I picked Price also. I thought he was going to stun him, get him down in submission because Price does that a lot. He'll rock you and you'll go down and he'll
great grappling.
Yeah, he can grapple at him. But so I had second round submission, but some people were saying early stoppage.
No,
I thought it was perfect stoppage. He was not defending
not at
himself. All. He was in a turtle position with his arms out flat in front of him. He wasn't trying to turn over. He wasn't putting his hands up.
And his cheek was flat on the canvas, like he was out.
Yeah.
He went out for a second. People don't want to admit that, but he did. His cheek was flat on the canvas. His arms went limp. Nico would have continued doing way more damage if the ref didn't jump in. And it was early stoppage. I've seen that on Twitter and everything too. People, I get it. Joe Bann's a great guy. He's a great fighter to cheer for and root for. It was a perfect stoppage. The ref jumped in at, in my mind, the perfect time.
Yeah, when it happened, I'm like, stop. I was saying stop it, because Joe Bann was definitely out. And when he got back up, he was on noodle legs, but it doesn't mean he was out. He just, the ref, okay, maybe if the ref didn't stop it, he could have survived the storm and rolled over, tried to pull guard
with
on
his chin. With his chin, not a chance.
Yeah, I'm just playing the whole if-then game. But if-then, he's still stunned, and then Nico's grappling would have submitted him. It was over one way or the other. He was rocked hard, and at that point, I think that was the end of the fight. So good. I think it was a good stoppage, 100%. Not just because play out, the if-then scenario, but I think he was done at that point. It needed to be
good
stopped.
Stoppage, good win for Nico Price.
Yeah,
having his last win overturned by a shitty marijuana test.
There
coming
seems
out
to be a common theme, and overturned by marijuana.
Yeah, God, I wish there's talks about the NFL's talking about getting rid of that suspension, like getting rid of the marijuana as part of a their drug testing. So
they
I
lost
think
a great running back, Ricky Williams, because of marijuana.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the UFC, I'm sorry, do you even UFC, bro? I think MMA in general should follow suit, get rid of it. Most of these states nowadays are legalizing it for recreational use. It's not a performance enhancer, so what are we doing?
Well, I don't think it's a performance enhancer, but I think you shouldn't be allowed to be high in a fight.
No, yeah, of course.
Drinking beer. Hell, John Jones would appreciate this doing.
But
coke.
you won't be high during a fight because they'll be watching you in the back. You'll be warming up, training, and all that. You'll have the athletic commissions right there. So yeah, but I mean, you want to get high the day before a fight? I don't give a shit. Hey, I made weight. Let's go get high. Cool.
I agree with you completely. I would never do such a thing. But hey, if you're Nate Diaz and you just made weight and you're about to go grub down on a big old chicken salad and some what have you after you make weight, dude, smoke a blunt, bro.
Yeah, get
209
down.
in the house. Let's do it.
Get down.
Yeah.
Oh man, so
next fight. What do you think? How'd you figure that one going down, huh?
Well, I thought Martin Bravo. I thought he'd be able to do something, but
he did. Something.
I was riding the hype train with Martin Bravo, man. The winning the Ultimate Fighter Latin America. I thought he would. The hype train. I knew Humberto Bandene was really good. I just thought it would be a closer fight. Baited him with the body kick, so the next time he threw it, same thing like John Jones and Daniel Cormier. Baited him with the body kick, and when he went to go throw again, he leaned over to kind of block it, took a knee right to the jaw. I mean, he's throwing the head kick, but his head was close enough to hit the knee. Done. Out.
That was one of the most scariest knockouts I've seen in a long time, man.
It was nice.
I was watching it in my 12-year-old Aiden. He was watching the fights with me, which he rarely does, and he's like, "Is he dead?" I'm like, no, he's somewhere near Pluto, so it's going to take him a while to get back. Yeah. But
third fastest finish in featherweight history.
Yeah,
26 seconds, man.
That's the third fastest.
Yeah, third. Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm assuming they're counting WEC when they do that, like they do nowadays, usually. So I think Aldo has it still in featherweight.
Yeah,
the double flying knee to Cub Swanson, one of the most amazing knockouts I've ever seen.
That was the one where I saw Aldo for who he really was, because I still am a huge Cub fan. One of my all-time favorite fighters to watch. One of my all-time favorite people to follow on Twitter.
Riverside County represent.
Well, of course, dude. That's how we do. Shout out to Lorenz Larkin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, it was good. But back to that fight.
Great knockout. Great UFC debut.
I thought Bravo was going to grind him out, but no, good fight, man. Hats off to how do you say his last name with that wonderful Spanish accent you do?
I think I said Bandene, but I believe it's Bandenai. I could be wrong. I forgot what the I forgot what the great
Latina.
I forgot what how the great Joe Martinez pronounced it. By the way, In case anybody didn't notice, from episode 1, big Joe Martinez fan here. So happy to see him on this card. So happy to hear him announcing, especially because his Spanish is perfect.
Yeah.
He made it feel special.
You're just a fan. Just a fan of Joe Martinez.
No, I'm a dick rider of Joe Martinez.
just want to make sure that's clear, because last week you were a big slut. You were riding a lot of penises.
Yeah, I was also really drunk.
Throw it out there that
I just got a little buzz tonight.
Yeah, Joe Martinez is well deserving of your riding of his magnificent penis.
So when you see his announcing tonight, can you see why I might be? Why you can see why I might be leaning towards why I like Joe Martinez more than Bruce Buffer. He just makes everything more exciting when he announces it. Maybe it's just me. Joe Martinez is more excitable when he's announcing. Bruce Buffer is more monotone, I guess.
I've never seen Joe Martinez do a 360 jump.
Yeah, well, Bruce Buffer did it, and he hurt himself, and he's never going to do it again. He said that in an interview.
He's like 70 years old, but that's fine. He's still kicking ass and taking it. I love me some Buffer.
Hey, know your limits. Know your limits.
I don't know my limits. That's why I drink too much and pass out on the floor, and my kids wake me up like, Daddy, what are you doing down there? Just kidding, that never happens.
Well, let's move on to the next fight real quick. And this is going to go real quick.
That one? Yeah,
I scored this fight as I don't give a fuck. Sam Alvey versus Rashad Evans. Alvey beats him split decision. Don't care. Moving on.
Yeah, I agreed with the decision.
That fight sucked.
I did care because I wanted to see what Rashad could do. I like the guy, but one of the things Stan was mentioning is it was a confidence thing. He obviously still has the ability, but when you're afraid to throw, when you're afraid to push forward, and I saw him lose some of that fear in this fight, but Rashad, do what you want. I'm not going to tell you to retire, man, because I still think you can do it at not the. I don't think you'll be champ anymore, but I think you can at least do it in the top 10, make some money, do your thing.
I'm going to disagree. I think Rashad Evans is done. I'm sure he has the fight in him. His body just isn't in it anymore.
Maybe
he can't will his body to do what he thinks he can do. He's one of my all-time favorites of all time. He was awesome to watch in his run towards the light heavyweight championship. I just think, you know what? He's a very smart person, and he's a great analyst. I just want to see him behind the desk from now on. Maybe even doing some commentating like Brian Stan does. I think I don't think he's gonna do any type of damage in the middleweight division or any other division. You lose to Sam Alvey, who everybody likes. He's a fan favorite because he's just smiling all the time. He's horrible. He's horrible. He sits there and does nothing and just waits for a counter. If he doesn't get that, he just has no output. His own wife,
takedown defense.
Well, training at Team Quest, you better. But still, I mean, his own wife.
County once again.
Yeah, right. His own wife's yelling at him to do something, and he doesn't even do it. I can't imagine what home life is like.
Dude, I was going to say, I imagine that's what it must have been like when they were conceiving their beautiful daughter.
Oh, Jesus! Like, do something.
I hope that wasn't too
no,
out of line. I just thought
I liked it because I could build off it. Yeah,
do something.
Yeah, she's just telling him, get in there and do something for crying out loud. And he just stands there and waits for her. That's what he does. It was horrible. It was a boring fight. And I want to move on to another fight that was actually pretty damn entertaining and had a very contentious split decision, according to social media. I was not very unhappy about it, or I wasn't very happy or unhappy about it. I get it. The third round was close. Anyways, Alejandro Perez defeating Andrei Sukhantov by split decision. It wasn't a robbery again, like people were claiming.
Should have been a 10-8 in that first round, dude.
Maybe.
That's all I'm saying.
Maybe, but the problem is, sure, he knocked him down for a couple of quick. I should
put him
elaborate
flat on
here.
his ass.
Sukhantov knocked down Alejandro Perez twice in the first round. Perez immediately got right up though, so they were like kind of flash knockdowns. And I get it.
He got right up because he wasn't going to jump on top of him and play the guard game with Perez. He's not going to go down there and play grappling with him.
I get it. But again. And if they would have scored a 10-8, I wouldn't have been mad. Honestly, I wouldn't have complained. But
it was
those three rules of the 10-8. 3 rules of 10-8. Dominance, duration, damage. You need 2 of those 3.
Okay, he did. He He damaged him and he dominated him on the feet. He knocked him on his ass twice. His nose was busted up to no degree. He got dominated and
I don't think
damaged.
he did that much damage. I don't think he did enough damage, to be honest. Because if he would have jumped in guard, or jumped in there, or even went up to him and started throwing some bombs on him from just standing up, not in his guard, then yeah, maybe. But he just got right back up, and Perez was still striking and landing on him throughout the entire round. I believe he actually landed more in that round. Not the harder shots, obviously, but he was still landing on him. That's why I can't say that that's a 10-8. I can't give it.
I hate to concede an argument to you. I just, at the time of watching it, but now going back and listening to what you're saying and kind of playing it back in my head, fuck you. But yeah, I thought that was a bad decision because I thought it should have been a draw at best. At best for Perez, it should have been a draw. I was really adamant about that. I still kind of hold that feeling, but you've kind of agreed, put me to a point where I can agree to disagree.
It happens, man. It happens. I can win some every once in a while. All the time.
I'll give this one to you. All the time. No. We all know who wins the debate discussion. I just can't win on our Pick'em League for crap. Even though I did pick Perez via decision, I got that one perfect. Speaking of,
the winner of this card's UFC Pick'em in our fantasy league is one Vanessa Evans.
Yeah, I notice how you shout out the winners of the events when it's not my wife, dude. You're a little salty that she's.
I just started
right behind
it I just started it last week on the request, or I should say, the behest of your buddy Aaron. The behest of your buddy Aaron, because he had won that week. I was like, why don't you guys talk about it? So yeah, I'm gonna start doing it. I started doing it last week, and this week Vanessa Evans took it. My fiance. Good job. Woo! I was going to win, except Pettis took that decision. I had Marino. Whatever.
Dude, I almost changed it last minute, but then I was like, I don't know, man. I'm a big Pettis fan, and he's been looking really, really good. And like you're saying, Marino capitalizes on mistakes. Pettis might make one, but we'll see. Yeah, turned out good for me. I only finished 4th tonight behind Vanessa, you, our buddy Aaron Smith there, then myself.
Yeah, and I'm actually glad that your wife picked Sukumtov.
I took Perez. But I really think Sukumtov should have won. That's just my.
I wouldn't have been mad. I wouldn't have. Okay, so as an analyst, I would not have been mad that if he won. But as somebody that picked Perez in the pick'em, I would have been mad. So
I took Perez in the pick'em too, but I thought he lost.
Yeah, it could have gone either way. To be honest, I'm not gonna. Like I said, I wouldn't have been mad.
Do you want to touch on the next 2 fights at least?
I at least for sure, because I want to. And then there is a preliminary card, a Fight Pass fight that we are going to touch on as well. Anyways, middleweight division, the main event of the preliminary card on Fox Sports 1. Preceding the main card on Fox Sports 1. I really hate this shit, man. Honestly,
why do they separate it, dude?
Why not just put the whole thing on Fight Pass? Like,
I wonder if it has to do with like contracts.
I'm sure it does, maybe, but I would love if the preliminary card was all on Fight Pass, because not only would it give me time to watch Fight Pass on my phone while playing video games, or doing something else, but it would also allow them to just go from fight to fight to fight to fight. One of the reasons that I love the full cards that are fully on Fight Pass is because they're not at the behest of any time limits or any TV time. They could just go from fight to fight. If it ends early, it ends early. So what?
Well, that was one of the good things about this one, though. They had a lot of early stoppages, so
they have a lot of dead time.
The Fight Pass. But the Fight Pass, I got to see. I have a lot of issues with my Fight Pass and streaming it and getting to work where I live. So
yeah.
That being said, I like it when, like on tonight's fight, you got to see the Fight Pass cards. They had to fill in some time slots, so you got to see some of those on TV. So that worked out great.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, it works out great for the people that don't have Fight Pass. I just, when you're watching the same analysts talking about the same stuff that you just watched in the pre-show, just repeating themselves for the most part, it kind of gets a little old. And yeah, seeing fights you already saw, that's cool. I mean, it would be nice because I don't really care because they have dead time, like they have like 20 minutes to kill in between the next fight. But you don't know when that fight's going to start, so you just got to sit there. So
that's right, you do.
Yeah, goddamn right.
Let's talk about
Oh, so anyways,
Scott
yeah.
versus Herman's son. There's 2 S's there.
Yeah.
It's Herman's son.
Jack Hermanson is a dude that I am on the bandwagon. I think he is a future champion. A lot of people fell off of his bandwagon. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Because he had that submission loss to Cesar Ferreira back in November. I think that was a fluke loss in my mind. I think Jack Hermanson is a beast, and I think he's a future champion. I'm still on his bandwagon.
Yeah, I would agree with you because I had picked him first round TKO against Scott.
He did have that triangle choke scare, though. He almost got caught.
He did, but if you look at it again, he played it just right with his shoulder position and not allowing his arm to get pushed back under his chin.
He almost didn't, though, because he allowed Scott to get that arm, the trapped arm for the triangle. Yeah, he allowed him to get it pulled over his stomach, which is how you pull it in deep. I think if Scott had a little more technique and reached up and started pulling his head down towards his crotch, it would have been a lot deeper. Yeah,
Scott's corner was yelling at him to pull his head down, head down.
Yeah, exactly. That's like the first.
That's
the first thing they teach you when you have a triangle locked up. Reach up, grab that head. I know a lot of people try to go for the straight arm bar, but no, if you got it locked up,
trying to transition it.
Yeah, if you got it locked up, you grab and pull that head down.
Yeah, in jiu-jitsu, you go straight for the head, but the way they teach it in sambo is to try to pivot over and hook the leg and put the weight on your hip. It's a little different. But Scott, I believe, is jiu-jitsu trained, not sambo. Anyways, that's all beside the point. I think Hermanson is comfortable in that position. I think that's why he allowed himself to get there. I think that's just my opinion because he.
I was actually surprised that he went for the takedown. I mean, I think Hermanson is the far better striker, and I was surprised when he took him down. But maybe that was the game plan to surprise Scott with the takedown.
Well, and he did good after he slipped out and got the back control and
those elbows
and then started pounding on him, dude.
Before those elbows before the back control, before he turned over.
Oh yeah.
They started out as short elbows, and they were hitting him. They were bouncing his head, and then he got some more separation, and then he turned, and Jesus.
There was a little David Loiseau flashback of those freaking wicked elbows that cut poor Evan Tanner's face to shreds.
Rest in peace, Tanner.
Oh, yeah. One of my favorite guys to watch. Love that guy, Tanner. I think that's the second time I've mentioned him on this podcast. And you shall hear more about it.
Big fan of his. You gotta respect a guy that was self-trained for the most part of his career. That's cool. He taught himself jiu-jitsu. That's you gotta respect that.
Yeah, he is phenomenal. Love you, Evan Tanner. Rest in peace, my friend.
Yeah, so Hermanson is on a 2-fight win streak, both stoppages in the middleweight division. He's somebody to watch out for. The next fight down, though, right before that, we had a record being broken. Dustin Ortiz, fresh off of his loss to main eventer Brandon Moreno, comes out and just crushes Hector Sandoval in 15 seconds, knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, that's how do you pick a knockout of the night when you've got this Dustin Ortiz knockout? You know what I mean? On top of Hermanson's knockout, on top of how do you say his name?
Bandana, something like I can't remember. I apologize, everybody out there. Bandana, whatever.
Latino fiance, and then have her tell you how to pronounce that shit right. But yeah, there were some great knockouts, and Dustin looked great. I've always liked him. I've always thought he's a good top contender. So
I like Dustin Ortiz. I like Dustin Ortiz. He's definitely the gatekeeper at flyweight. If you can't get past him, you're not a challenger. You're not a contender. I don't see him making a run. I think he's too far in his career. I mean, he's young. Sure, he's young, but I just don't see him making a very far run. But he's definitely a gatekeeper, and he's a very entertaining gatekeeper. And this fight right here is why I get so irritated by the people on social media that always have to post, "Who cares about this card? Who the fuck is that? Who's that? Who?" Yeah, you know what? These are the best cards. If you don't want to watch these, you're an idiot. And I'm being honest. If you call yourself an MMA fan and you don't want to watch these cards, you're an idiot. These are the best cards that the UFC usually puts on.
Look at how many finishes there were.
Oh,
and
they tied the record in the modern day era of first round finishes. 7 on this card.
Yes.
They tied the record in modern era. That's How are you going to pass on this? Like, I'm sure you saw it on Facebook. Like, Dana White or UFC would post, Pettis versus Moreno tonight, blah, blah, blah. And people would be posting memes like of Conor, who the fuck is that guy? Or just saying, I don't know who these people are. Or gifs of, who cares? Yeah, this is why you should care, because shit like this happens.
Well, it's for the same reason, like, okay, we used to watch the WEC. We know all these fighters and what they're capable of and what they've done. We've seen Cub Swanson, Jose Aldo, like we talked about tonight. We saw Demetrius Johnson, Uriah Faber, Dominic Cruz, Cowboy Cerrone, Brian Stan, Chael Sonnen. And we saw all these guys when they were on, coming up before they made the big show. So we've seen what they're capable of. And that's kind of what these fight night cards are to me. That's what I was thinking about tonight. It just reminded me a lot of when I used to watch WEC. I'd come home from work and it was always on the outdoor channel or whatever it was, the WEC. Yeah. And I just, lay in bed and watch it and just be like, oh, dude, these fighters are so great, man. I wish they had a 145-pound division in the UFC to, move them up. And that's what these cards are. If you're a fan of MMA, these are the cards you have to watch.
And honestly, the only bad fight was Alvey and Evans.
Yeah, the veteran.
Out of the 12 fights, you had 7 finishes, and all 7 of those were in the first round, and they were all by different ways. I mean, let's just jump right down to it. The very first fight of the night. Yeah, let's jump down to the first fight of the night.
So pretty.
Jordan Rinaldi defeating Alvaro Herrera by Von Flue choke. He's only the 3rd person in UFC history to win by Von Flue choke. It's the 4th one because OSP did it twice, but he's only the 3rd person. And
who was the first?
I don't know. Something Von Flue. Yeah. Jason Von Flue, named after him because nobody had seen it until he did it.
Yeah, no one knew what happened when he was like, "Wait, why is he tapping out?"
Yeah,
but yeah, Ovince St. Preux has got that nailed. He knows how to shoot for that high double leg and switch sides and hope for you to hold on to that guillotine and apply that pressure.
And here's the thing that bothers me about it is because you shouldn't be getting submitted by a Von Flue choke. If you think you're going to get caught in a Von Flue choke, let go of the fucking guillotine.
What's funny is I was saying that same thing, and as you and I were texting tonight, I was like, yeah, hold on to that far side guillotine, the headlock. But if you look at it, Rinaldi managed to trap Herrera's arm.
Yeah, because he held on to it too long. He was already setting it up. If you're on your back and the guy is in side control already, give up. Let it go. Why keep holding it? Like that's horrible. And I'm not going to try to talk about a professional fighter saying, you're an idiot, but that's a rookie mistake, man. You're in the UFC. You can't be making mistakes like that.
I don't know Herrera well enough, but I don't know what his belt or what his experience is in jiu-jitsu, but you do know if you're holding that far side guillotine and you're not in half guard, if you're on full side control, you have to let it go, because what's your escape from there? Either to try to post up and wall walk. I don't know of a sweep from that type of position that's out there. In half side control, it's not half guard. Sorry, in side control, there's a million sweeps I can think of, but none of them are with that headlock position. I could be wrong. I'm not a black belt in jiu-jitsu. In fact, I'm not a belt in jiu-jitsu at all.
But I play one on TV.
Yeah, I play one on the radio.
Yeah.
But I'm an analyst, and I watch things, and I listen, and I know, and I read, and I research. And again, what do I know? But I'm just saying I don't know of any. And it's not saying there's not. I'm sure freaking Eddie Bravo has probably come up with 100 in the past 10 seconds. I've been rambling about it, but yeah, you got to let it go.
Beast.
Yeah,
a little crazy, but a beast.
He's insane, dude. Power 7.
So speaking of jiu-jitsu, though, I want to just really quick give a shout out to Rani Yaya. I'm sorry, Hani Yaya. I don't know why I pronounced the R like an R. Hani Yaya.
So yeah, buddy.
His transitions in that fight against Henry Briones were amazing. He got him down, went for a Darce choke, transitioned to north-south, then to a Kimura, straight armbar and back to the Kimura and got the tap out. That is jiu-jitsu black belt at its finest. That was a work of art.
If you want to see MMA jiu-jitsu done right, watch this fight. It was beautiful. I had to rewind it and watch it again. I think I watched it like 3 times.
The transitions were amazing.
Well, he went from, he had the north-south, or the Darce to north-south, to rolled back, and then he was in half guard. Half guard, he went for the straight arm, and went for the straight arm bar. He missed that. He slipped out, went to mount, and then he started to go for the Kimura. And once he had mount, and then he basically slipped over to side control and stepped over and completely isolated that arm. I was like, dude, that was just...
It was beautiful.
It was like brown belt versus white belt. You know what I mean?
Actually, I'm not exactly sure what Brion's fucking belt is, but you could be spot on there. Except it's a black belt, obviously.
Oh yeah.
I mentioned this earlier to some people, but if Yaya was if he had a gas tank, the dude would be top 5 bantamweight in the world right now. His gas tank is what's fucked him his entire career.
Yeah, and he's let me down on a lot of picks, but I just believed in his jiu-jitsu and his...
He's the bantamweight Maya. He's the bantamweight Damian Maya. He really is.
Well, then he needs to work on his wrestling and learn how to take people down. Well, work on your wrestling because what wrestler doesn't have a gas tank?
That's true. But don't even work on your wrestling. Just work on your gas tank. You can do the jiu-jitsu takedowns. You can do the trips and everything and the single legs. Just get your gas tank. He's lost most of his fights. His last fight with I think it was the last fight, Joe Soto. He was winning and then he gassed, and then Soto took over and won the decision.
I was happy to see Soto win that one. I'm a big Soto fan.
Yeah, I like Soto as well, but I picked Yaya to win that fight, and he was handily winning it until he gassed. So
yeah, I picked Soto. I don't know why I'm maybe it's a Joe thing, but I like Soto a lot.
Well, I like Soto too because I was a big Bellator fan when they first started up, and he was their first bantamweight champion. I like Soto.
Yeah. Well, it's because you're a Bjorn Remney fan.
I could be wrong though. Actually, I believe Joe Soto. I take that back. I believe Joe Soto was their first featherweight champion. Lost it to Joe Warren, and then he dropped down to bantamweight.
But he was their bantamweight champion for sure.
No, he wasn't their bantamweight. He left. No, he was their Joe Soto was their featherweight champion. I'm remembering this correctly, I hope.
No, Soto, he was a bantamweight champ.
Tally Patchy fights. He was their bantamweight champion. But he was only the Bellator featherweight champion. He was actually the Tachi Pali fights featherweight champion as well.
Yeah, he was.
No,
good,
he
man.
wasn't. He lost that fight. I just remembered he lost that fight. It was to Eddie Yeagan. He did lose that fight. Sorry. He fought for it though.
And I liked his first fight in the UFC on half a day. Again, talking about Renan Barão not making weight.
Did a great
again
had a great showing in his first his UFC debut coming in.
He went 5 rounds with, in my mind, the greatest bantamweight fighter in the UFC.
Yeah. He survived for 5 rounds. Let's not take. He looked. It wasn't close though.
Good shots, man.
It wasn't close though.
It wasn't close, but he stood his ground for the most part, and he fought. He didn't fight afraid. He wasn't scared of TJ, the Renan Barão killer. Like, he did a good job, man. And I like seeing Joe Soto win. I don't think he's going to be champ as long as he's in the TJ era and in the Garbrandt era. I think those are the 2 best bantamweights. No offense to Dom, I just think Dom his body is just giving up on him a little bit, with the plantar fascia, the knee stuff. But because that's why people don't fight like that. Dom was lucky enough to fight that long that way. I just think his fighting style isn't conducive to longevity. But
I agree.
Let's pretend his body never gave up on him. He'd be number 1. TJ would be number 2 in my mind, and Garbrandt number 3. At this point, Garbrandt still has more time. But yeah,
we'll see what happens. Yeah, no, I totally got you. Before we move on from the fight card, I just want to give a shout out to Diego Rivas. Even though he came up short in his decision to Jose Quinones, dude just came back from a year and a half off because of cancer, and he didn't look that bad. So shout out to Diego Rivas, man, surviving cancer, fighting that shit, coming back to actually start fighting again. Mad props.
Yeah, I had picked him. I know it had been some time off with the cancer. I just, maybe there's a little spot in my heart for those fighting that disease.
Well, there's a spot in my heart for people like that. I'm a Chiefs fan. Eric Berry. Very strong. So,
very strong.
Yeah. I totally...
Why are you a Chiefs fan? You've never even been to Kansas City. Doesn't make any sense.
They were the first team I watched as a child when I first started watching football.
All right, I guess, dude.
Yeah, it's just the team I chose. I like their colors.
So you're not a front runner because they weren't winners back then.
That's a good point.
So I'll give you that, dude. I love to talk crap about you and the Chiefs. What's that?
All right, so during the broadcast tonight, man, they announced a pretty awesome fight in my mind for the light heavyweight division. Glover Teixeira and Misha Cirkunov. And you know, and a lot of people know, how much I love Misha Cirkunov.
Yeah, but I'm curious, like, what did Glover do?
Glover's still dangerous.
Why are they mad at?
It's still a dangerous fight.
Glover.
It's still a dangerous fight for Misha. But I tend to think that, well, I don't know, maybe now I don't think that fight with Volkan Ozdemir is a fluke, even though it was a really weird punch he threw. But I still think Misha is one of the best light heavyweights in the world, and I'd love to see him get a rematch with Ozdemir. But yeah, I like this fight a lot. It's really going to tell us where both of these fighters stand.
I think I love Glover, but I think he's on the back nine.
Oh, agreed. But he's even on the back nine. He's still extremely dangerous.
Oh yeah, his straight boxing is probably some of the best at 205. His straight boxing for sure.
And his top game is amazing. It's
scary. But he's not getting
Misha down. He's not getting Cirkunov down. Yeah, he's not getting Cirkunov down.
Not getting Misha down. It's gonna be a boxing fight for the most part. There's gonna be. I'm gonna go out on a limb. You guys give me by the over under. I'm giving you the over under on kicks thrown in this fight. You ready? 4.
Damn.
4
over
kicks.
Under?
And I'm counting both guys.
See, I actually think Cirkunov's just going to take him down. I think Cirkunov's better grappler. And I'm pretty sure Teixeira is a black belt, but he's very good on his top. On top, I think Cirkunov is going to put him on his back, and I think Cirkunov takes this fight. He's younger, he's hungrier.
His takedown defense is underrated, and his stalling, not for lack of a better word, but for exactly what it is, his stalling on the bottom is fine.
Yeah. And
his takedown defense is underrated. I don't think he's going to get taken down.
I like the fight, though. I really like that they set it up. It's very I lost the word. I'm sorry, but inspired. It's a very inspired fight that they put together. Very inspired.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Exactly.
It makes total sense for both of those guys.
Which is a plus in my mind. That means Sean Shelby and Nick Maynard are starting to figure out how to do Joe Silva's job. I'm very excited.
And as much as crap I heard Brendan Schaub say about how nasty Joe Silva is, he was a phenomenal matchmaker.
Yeah. He was. He really was.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it before his Hall of Fame induction. Yeah, much deserved. I mean, the guy was the guy. Basically, the guy built the UFC through the fights. Sure, Dana and the Fertitta brothers were building it behind the scenes. Also, but when it comes to the forefront, that was Joe Silva building that shit. He was building it through the fights.
Well, his job was to build contenders, and the brass, the Lorenzo and Dana, their job was to build championship fights, build the brand. So he had, so you've got a John Jones. Well, how do I build the next guy to compete against John Jones? What do I do? How do I make this guy, whoever this guy may be, how do I build them, Yeah. And that's what he did. He did a great job, man. Joe Silva, I was really sad to see him go when WIMGXQPLTRM bought out Zuffa. I was really sad to see him go.
Joel Supernaut from Chael Sonnen's show, You're Welcome, called it the Alphabet Company. That's where I got it from, that first episode. So
yeah.
So, anyways,
it's a great fight. They're finding their way. Yeah,
it's a great
Sean
fight.
Shelby's finding his way.
Speaking of great fighters and the light heavyweight division, I was listening to the MMA Hour earlier this week on Monday. He had Anthony Rumble Johnson on, and he said something very interesting, to me at least. Rumble Johnson mentioned that he's not under contract anymore. That even though he retired, the UFC, he still had fights on his contract, but the UFC went ahead and sent him his termination papers like 3 days later, which is very unheard of because usually a fighter retires, they keep them under contract, so if they come back, they have to come back to the UFC. So this was interesting to me, very interesting, because that means Rumble Johnson's a free agent.
Yeah, why did they do it? It makes no sense. They're still holding on to like B. Schaub's contract.
Yeah, exactly. So here's my question for you. I mean, Rumble Johnson did say that the only fight he'd come back for is John Jones. That's the only fight he wants. Otherwise, he's happy with his marijuana business. Hey, more power to you, Anthony Johnson. Make your money, man.
Kick down some of that sticky icky, son.
Yeah, but let me ask you this: if you're Bellator, do you start throwing the fucking bank at him?
No, you don't.
Really? With who your light heavyweight champion is and the contenders, Phil Davis and Ryan Bader, the champion? Do you not try to market off of Anthony Johnson's fans and his style? I think so. I mean, maybe not the bank, but you start throwing some offers out. You start throwing some money.
This is the reason I don't do it. He retired from MMA. He said a few choice words. Some of those being basically boiling down to the training. Man, I don't want to get punched anymore. I don't want to roll around shirtless with sweaty guys anymore. Like, his heart just wasn't in it. It's just not. So you're going to invest.
His heart has never been in it, though.
You're not going to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into this guy who could possibly be your champ and then go like, I don't want to do it. Do you throw him an offer? Yes, you do. You throw him a good offer, but you don't put
a six-figure offer. I would say.
Sure, but you give him the same offer you gave Bader, but the difference is Bader's not the big draw, but Bader's heart and soul is into this game.
Yeah, I was gonna say because Rumble Johnson's heart was never in the game. He even said it himself. He doesn't like fighting. He just is good at knocking people out. So why not?
But that's just it. Think of it as a businessman. Do you want to hire somebody who doesn't love what they do, but they're just kind of good at it and could quit on you at any minute? Or do you hire somebody like Bader who's like, look, maybe not the greatest, but this guy is really, really, really good and he loves what he does?
Okay, if you're Bellator.
Yeah.
Does Anthony Johnson equal ratings?
Yes, he does.
Then you throw money at him.
No,
if he equals, because they are a ratings-driven company, though. They're a ratings-driven company, and Anthony Johnson equals ratings. I would say you throw money at him. You try to get him in there.
How many fights?
Give him a 4-fight deal. See how he feels after that. I'm sure if he becomes champion, he'll change his tune. No, I'm sorry. When he becomes champion, he'll change his tune because nobody in that light heavyweight division at Bellator beats him.
What do you think? You think Bader can't beat him? You think Bader can't go for the stupidest, sloppiest takedown on earth and get punched in the face for 32 seconds?
Yeah, exactly. No. Oh, he totally has a chance. He has more of a chance of beating Anthony Johnson than Conor has of Floyd, but I had to say that because I wanted to segue into this next topic I wanted to talk about.
Quit breaking down the fourth wall.
Fourth wall inside of a fourth wall. What?
Whoa,
it's like 16 walls.
16 walls.
Deadpool. Love that movie.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a great movie.
Yeah. So, segue into Floyd Mayweather. It was reported that he asked for 6-ounce gloves for this boxing fight, even though I forgot. I believe it's 156 pounds and up in boxing. They use 10 ounces.
Yep.
He asked for 6-ounce gloves though. I'm thinking it's to appease all the people that are saying he's just getting everything he wants and Conor's not getting anything. I don't know. Well, I honestly thought it was grandstanding and just him trying to just whatever to try to get people interested in talking. But the Athletic Commission, Nevada State Athletic Commission, came out and said yes, he did do a formal request for 6-ounce gloves. That means he was serious about it.
Sure. I formally requested God give me a 12-inch penis. I knew it wasn't going to happen, but I requested it nonetheless.
Well, not even God could give you 10. So
no. But the point is like yes, it's look, man, I'm gonna bring out a full request and I'm gonna.
So is it showmanship or is it just a sign of his confidence?
It's showmanship.
Okay.
100%, because there are rules the ABC has dictated that are law when it comes to boxing. You're 156, 10-ounce gloves.
Yeah, but
That's
there's
it.
also rules that you don't put a fucking 0-0 boxer, amateur, not even a professional, against a 49-0 professional. But the commission allowed that to go because of the money.
They didn't allow it to go because of the money. They looked at
Bullshit.
his mixed martial
They
arts
saw the amount of
record
money that
in
Nevada was
combat
about
sports.
to bring in. Come on.
Why are you so cynical, man? It's not all about the
Okay,
dollar
so
bills,
here's the thing
y'all.
about people that are cynical. They're usually the realists. So
No, they're just the assholes.
maybe I'm in this fight. But I honestly think that this is just Floyd admitting that he's going to beat him any way he wants.
I believe that Conor stands a slim puncher's chance, for sure. That's what I believe. I believe that he's going to give him something unorthodox for a couple rounds. It's going to be a little different. I think he's going to dirty box him. I think he's going to be bigger. I like what Pat Miocic says, is to be as dirty with inside the rules as you can be. All of this, that, and the other said, I think Floyd Mayweather is the best offensive boxer the world has ever seen. For a reason, he's been that guy. You know what I mean? So he's going to win. Give him 4-ounce gloves, 6-ounce gloves, 10-ounce gloves, 30-ounce gloves, fucking those big old giant gloves when you pretend box at the fair. Floyd Mayweather is going to win this fight.
Yeah. I understand that.
But going to a commission and saying, I want 6-ounce gloves at this weight class, and the commission is going to say, then fight at 155.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Make it 55.
Yeah, which they could have done. I don't see any reason why.
Because McGregor is the UFC 156-pound champion, right?
No, he's got to weigh in at 155 on the dot to be the champion, remember?
Yeah. Okay. So he's the 155-pound champion. So he can make 155. In fact, he's made 145 before. So this is my thought. Mayweather's confidence basically is allowing Conor to fight him at a heavier weight class, because 156 is big for Mayweather. Mayweather can make 45 tomorrow. You know what I mean? So he's going to allow Conor to fight at a bigger weight because he knows it's the bigger gloves, which gives him a bigger guard, which even though Conor says I break the guard, you don't break the guard with 10-ounce gloves. You just don't.
You don't.
You know, so him asking for 6-ounce gloves, the commission should come back and say, yeah, fight him at 55. Then you can have 6-ounce gloves. Otherwise, you're going to fight. Or they don't even use 6-ounce gloves at 55, right? They use 8-ounce gloves. I think there's a 6-ounce. Whatever the fuck. You know,
I'm not as well versed in boxing. Like I said, I'm MMA purist.
Yeah.
This is what I was reading. I could have been completely wrong. Any of you boxing fans that do listen, people that know, feel free to correct us, man. I'm a humble person. Sometimes, kind of, not really.
Sometimes, kind of, never.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I do think it's interesting. I do think that it, to me, it sure could be showmanship on one hand. On the other hand, I think Floyd, just regardless of what size gloves they are, beats him in a boxing match, straight up.
In a boxing match, Floyd wins, hands down.
And that's when I was saying before, like if they even stepped into the octagon and Conor was crazy enough and cocky enough and egotistical enough to just throw hands only, even though it's an MMA fight, then yeah, Floyd could win.
Yeah,
because you know, but
if it's hands and hands only, then Floyd's the best in the business.
Yeah, but I mean, Conor wouldn't do that in an MMA fight because that's just stupid.
No. Well, he again, go back to we were talking about James Toney and Randy Couture. Conor's not going to shoot for a takedown, but the first thing Conor's going to do is throw a spinning fucking
exactly,
heel kick.
Which is what my worry was with that fight when that happened with Couture and Toney was, how long is Couture going to stand with him? I was like thinking the entire time, shoot, you know.
Yeah.
But if he stood for them for even 2 minutes, it would have looked bad for MMA because I think Toney would have knocked him out.
Well, if he would have tried to throw punches with Toney, yeah, but the one of the good things was Toney was really, really training hard in his takedown defense. So I think he was really mindful of that mid single, you know, the knee tap or single. never even thought about a freaking heel pick at all.
That was crazy, man. That was so weak. So
I just watched that fight a while ago, and the arm triangle that Couture had, it was deep though. I got to give him that. It was a good deep, and Couture is known for having a wicked squeeze. So I don't blame Tony for tapping like that, but yeah. Anyways, that's off point, dude. I think that the whole 6-ounce gloves thing is nothing more than a spectacle because, like we talked about earlier, with the unified rules not being unified in MMA and this, that, and the other, in boxing, it is what it is. You're fighting at 56. You're using 10-ounce gloves.
Yeah, but for this fight, the commission did make exceptions by allowing Conor to take it. I thought maybe just for the whole spectacle of it, they would allow different type of they would just allow 6-ounce gloves. They would I'm losing my train of thought here for the word I was looking for. Concession. They would allow more concessions to just allow this fight to be more of a spectacle than it already is. So that's why I was thinking maybe it would happen.
Yeah, I think if they do that, then they prove it's simply a spectacle and a money grab. So they have to have a semblance, or semblance is the word, not a semblance, some semblance of integrity here.
Yeah. I know. Okay, that's fine. But let's stick with boxing real quick. There's a report that Stipe Miocic called out IBF heavyweight champion, WBA and IBO champion Anthony Joshua, fresh off his knockout of Vladimir Klitschko, and called him out for a boxing fight.
Yeah, don't do it, bro.
Well, here's my question. It's bad. It's very bad. Yeah, Anthony Joshua is a bad man.
Anthony Johnson, to me, is one of the scariest people on earth. Yeah, he's not an MMA fighter. He's a boxer. Don't get me wrong.
But he's big and he's scary.
Scary.
He knocked out Vladimir. He basically scared Klitschko into retirement because they were setting up the rematch, and Klitschko was like, "Nah, I'm cool. I'm just going to retire and continue fucking Hayden Panettiere."
Yeah, so I'm dating to the cheerleader that saved the world.
Is that a Heroes reference?
Of course it is.
What else would it be? Very nice.
That first season was so good.
It was the only good one.
Lord. The first season was like one of the best written television series ever. Like, dude, yeah, I could go on for hours on how much I love that.
Oh, the first season, I totally agree. But my question is, I don't think Stipe stands a chance. But my question is, does he have chance of getting the fight?
No. He's not Conor McGregor. No.
But why not? There's no clear-cut contender in the heavyweight division right now. Unlike Conor, who's got the clear-cut two contenders at least, at minimum, at lightweight.
There's a clear-cut contender at the heavyweight division.
Who?
What other 40-year-olds do we have besides Mark Hunt?
They're talking about. They were talking about Stipe and
Daniel
Kane.
Cormier.
But Kane's, if he moves up, that'd be awesome. I don't think he does though, because he still thinks it's Kane's division.
Yeah,
but
it's
just
Kane doesn't fight but every 6 years.
But they're talking about Stipe versus Kane. Being the next heavyweight title fight. They were talking about that.
Yeah.
Kane coming off an injury, but so he's not a clear-cut contender. Alistair Overeem just got knocked out one fight ago from him, before the Verdum victory. Not a clear-cut contender. Maybe once Junior Dos Santos and Francis Ngannou finishes, and Ngannou wins as I expect him to do it.
Olenek?
He's not up there. He hasn't done enough.
Oh, he's done enough for me.
No, dude, he's one fight. He's one fight, one or two fights removed from a loss to Daniel Amalenchik. So I mean, I don't see him being a top heavyweight contender yet.
Just everybody out there, look up Ezekiel choke.
Yeah, and it's
look
great.
Up Ezekiel choke from the bottom in gi. It's not easy to do that shit. No gi.
I agree.
Dude, that guy's brilliant, bro.
I agree, but he's only on a 2-fight win streak. He got the Ezekiel choke by Victor Pesta, and then submitted Travis Brown. I don't know how beating Travis Brown gets you a title shot, but no, there's no clear-cut contender at heavyweight. If you're gonna let your fighters go out there, well, Francis Ngannou, if he beats Junior Dos Santos, like I said, if he beats Junior Dos Santos like I expect him to do, that's a different story.
Dude, what
But
did
if
Junior
not,
Dos Santos do to the UFC?
yeah, exactly. Oh my God,
even worse than
and that actually brings me.
Glover.
Okay, so that actually brings me to something real quick that I noticed during the fights, and I was talking to my buddy about it. During the show tonight, we saw minimum 4 advertisements or mentions about Conor vs. Floyd. I get it, big fight, big spectacle, whatever. One fucking preview, mention, anything for their next pay-per-view. Mighty Mouse versus Borg, Amanda Nunes, Valentina Shevchenko. And they wonder why these people don't sell. They wonder why.
I'm going to toe the company line. Which fight is next?
It doesn't matter. Which one do you have actual stake in?
Oh, so the UFC isn't promoting Maymac?
No, they are. That's
not,
the funny thing.
not?
But they don't have stake in. They've actually straight up come out and said that they don't. So what the fuck?
Or
Are they lying to
don't
us?
they? Or don't
Yeah,
they?
exactly.
Dana White is a man of his word.
Dana White
He's never
was,
lied
yeah.
once.
Oh, yeah.
Never, ever, ever. Never
Yeah.
has, never will.
Yeah, especially,
He's a man of
yeah. I know. I love that he kept his promise about John Jones will never main event again. So,
Yeah, well,
not that I agreed with him on that. I did love that Dana White was wearing the Zuffa boxing during the whole press conference. Did you see that Zuffa boxing shirt? Like,
of course.
fuck
dude.
off, boxing, whatever. No, they've come out and said that this is all done by Showtime. This is all basically Team Mayweather, the money team,
Yeah.
and Showtime.
So they paid for those promotions for the UFC
Yeah.
to.
I hope they're paying
them?
the UFC something to promote because otherwise it's a waste of money. But at the same time, there's a report that just came out about how Mighty Mouse and Dana White squashed their beef. They had a sit down,
Yep.
just like Tyron Woodley and all that. I kind of want to talk about that. We could talk about that next week though. But the Mighty Mouse,
We'll have plenty of.
yeah, they squashed it. So you would think that to show good faith, they'd be promoting the shit out of this fight, not just during a Fox Sports 1 card on a Saturday in the month that Mayweather McGregor's happening.
You would think, but that's not the way they operate, dude.
Yeah, it just bugs me. I get the spectacle that's coming up for that fight or the boxing match, the farce.
Farce?
It's come
dare you.
on, dude, come on. This is nothing. You know damn well.
How dare you?
You got McGregor's team putting out photos that looks like McGregor's taking, winning in sparring. Then you got the boxers coming out and saying, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa! Wait a second, that's not how it happened." Come on. I know you read that.
Paulie Malignaggi getting pushed down. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, actually quitting his training camp because of that's dishonesty from McGregor's team. That's fucking not cool in my mind, man. That's not cool.
No, when I heard about that, I was really pissed because Paulie went into that with, from what my understanding, from what I had heard and read,
Just to help
he
him.
really went into that to box with him and be a boxer and to spar with him, and they did a great job. And then when they come out and they do that kind of stuff, whoever leaked it was obviously a part of McGregor's camp. Whether that was directed or not, it's kind of shitty because you got to know someone of Paulie's caliber who's a championship boxer and who's been around a really long time is not just going to sit there and go, "Oh yeah, no, he punched me, he dropped me." No, he's going to be competitive. He's going to fight for his sport.
Well, a lot of people were trying to point out that it wasn't Conor that released it, but it was also pointed out that it was his photographer that he uses a lot that released the photos. So
the only people allowed in his gym are his team.
Exactly.
So by proxy, if in my job, I've got a boss, he's my employer, and when I go to a job site and I direct my men to do something, by proxy, that's my boss's direction. So if I tell them to do something wrong, then by proxy, it's the only word I can think of right now, my boss is planning to do something wrong,
Yeah.
So that's what it boils down to is Conor didn't specifically direct him, but you're a member of Conor's team. Therefore, you represent Conor. If you did it on your own, then you should be fired if that's not something that represents what the McGregor team stands for.
Yeah.
That gentleman has not been let, or gentleman or lady, I believe it's a gentleman, has not been let go. Therefore, he did what represents the McGregor team.
No, totally agree on that one. Actually, won't even argue that.
Of course you do. I'm a brilliant debater. As they say, I'm a cunning linguist and a master debater. That's what I do.
Did you just say cunnilingus? I believe you did.
A cunning linguist and a master debater.
I think you said cunnilingus.
I'm a cunning linguist. Hey, you never listen to the good old Tom Likas show?
I do not. I do listen to, though, is MMA to the Max.
You know what? That is the only podcast worth listening to, I think. What?
Oh, God. What a good night, though. Good night of fights. I was excited. We got
card.
What do we don't... I don't have anything. You got anything you want to talk about, Joe? You got anything coming up? Any plans? Any cool stuff happening? We got a block party going down for Mayweather Mac.
Yes, and Mayweather Mac, the neighbors, and everyone talking about getting together to watch the fights, and I'm sure they're going to be picking my brain about who does what, when, where, why, and how. I am the infamous Joe from the MMA to the Max podcast, which they're all aware of. So they, bug me about all that fun stuff. But no, it should be good. Other than that, just normal family stuff,
Right on.
Hanging out with the wife and kids and doing what I love to do. How about you, man? What you got going on?
I have an interview for a job on Tuesday, so that's cool. Cool job, Frito-Lay. Might work out.
There you go, man.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
It would be cool. It would be the Rancho Cucamonga area of Southern California. So we'll see. We'll see how it works out. We'll see how it works out.
Neck of the woods.
Yeah, no, I'd probably be working close to you, man. I'll have to start coming visiting more. Maybe they'll station me in Riverside area because I think it's the same depot.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, dude.
Anyways, I think we could just start getting the social media stuff out here, man.
Yeah, if you want to get a hold of me, my Twitter and Instagram is JoeHud45. That's what it is of right now. I think I'm going to change my Instagram to MMA to the Max Joe. I'll get on that tonight or tomorrow, but in the meantime, if you just look up JoeHud45 on Instagram and Twitter, you can find me.
Awesome. And you're going to find me on Instagram at MMA to the Max right now. I will probably change that to MMA to the Max Rob, just so we can both have a page on Instagram that we use to promote the show. Find us on Twitter at MMA to the Max Show, or if you want to find myself personally on Twitter, that is at It's Rock Robster, no apostrophe. We also have a Facebook page, excuse me, that you can find us out. We post all of our shows there. We also talk and post and ask questions about whether or not or about who you think is going to win. That is facebook.com/MMA to the Max MMA to the Max podcast. Sorry.
There you go.
Yeah. Facebook.com/MMA to the Max podcast. Also, all these twos are spelled with the number. Don't spell out the word. So that is MMA number 2, the Max. Anyways, that's our social media.
Everyone pay close attention. We're looking and working at getting a sponsored contest for a wonderful prize. We're working on getting that going right now. So follow us, pay attention. We'll give announcements once we get all that buttoned up. So.
Yeah, I do want to. Yeah, I do have my boy Aaron Alenis, who works for Verizon and runs Verizon out here where I live. He is looking to sponsor an episode soon to give away a JBL Flip 4. We are going to announce when that happens pretty soon, but be on the lookout, and it's going to be pretty awesome. Shout out to my boy Aaron. Thank you for the sponsor.
We're also working with Tupperware by Zane to get some Tupperware giveaways as well.
Fuck yeah. Tupperware by Zane. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Right,
let's get some Tupperware. Hit her up.
Of course.
Hit her up. How do they find her?
How do they find Tupperware by Zane? What do they search on Facebook? Zane's Tupperware. Zayne Tupperware.
Yeah, find her. Hey, the
There
shit's
you go.
pretty cool. I wasn't a believer, and then I went down and visited and saw their shit. It's pretty cool. So
Yeah, man, it works out. All my lunches to work, they stay nice and organized, and they have these wonderful little devices that you just put in the microwave and cook them up and eat them and go. It's wonderful, man. I'm a believer now. I'll tell you what.
I wasn't a believer because I just thought it was some bullshit. But seeing it at work, yeah, it's Tupperware, whatever. But seeing it at work, I was like, God damn, that stuff's pretty cool.
Yeah, it works out for everybody. So we'll work on some giveaways for some Tupperware as well. So keep in touch, man. Follow us on our social media. That's the best way to get a hold of us. All the fans out there, all the friends out there, man, feel free, comment whatever you like, good, bad, or indifferent. We love hearing from everybody.
Yeah, definitely listen. Just so everybody knows, when we do this giveaway, we will not announce the winners on the social media. We'll announce them on the show. You will not know if you won unless you listen to the show. So, sorry.
You have to listen to the whole episode, too, because we're going to wait to the very end. That's how manipulative we are.
Actually, we're going to do it whenever the fuck we want, because I don't want you skipping till the end. What?
Oh, dude, you're clever. Wow, you're even more clever than I thought, dude. I haven't given you enough credit.
Yeah. Where's that Brad Pitt, Tyler Durden? How's that working out for you? Being clever? Yeah, keep it up. So,
Sure.
fuck, man, we are rambling at the end here. Let's wrap this up, man.
it's-
Let's wrap this up. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's go
Cheers
drink
to
some beer.
alcohol.
Yep.
All right, sign us out, my friend.
All right. For the W2M Network and MMA to the Max, I am Robert Taylor.
I am Joe Hudson.
Everybody, have a good weekend. Take care. See you next week.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.